It's time to have a serious conversation about the player that Austin Reaves has become in the league. There has been this incremental improvement with Austin ever since he entered the league. But the thing is every time you think he's reached his ceiling, you look up and somehow he's even better. Yet again. Started with him being kind of just a capable off-ball scorer, a guy that can knock down a catch and shoot three, drive a closeout, make a play off the bounce, paying like essentially benefiting from the attention that LeBron and AD drew, right? Then he started to flash some higher level bucket getting, like a crazy move in the mid-range for a pull-up jump shot that would make a highlight reel. Really started to showcase his ability to get defenders out of position and get to the foul line. Then there was game 1 against Memphis 3 years ago. Down the stretch, the Lakers were like, you run the offense, spread pick and roll. And he closed a playoff game. And he did it, you guys remember screaming, I'm him at the top of his lungs to the rafters as he literally won a playoff game for the Lakers. Then you look up and he had 8 20-point games in that single playoff run. Then JJ makes him the starting point guard. And it wasn't perfect at first, but he just kept getting better at it. And then suddenly by the middle of last season, he looks like a bona fide running mate alongside LeBron James. And the Lakers were winning consistently. Then naturally started to get some opportunities to run the show. Whether it was like Luka and LeBron out last year against the Pacers and he goes for 45, 7, and 7 in a win. Or that road game in Denver, which the Lakers ended up losing, but they were right there at the end. 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists for Austin in that game. But then again, doing it every now and then is, when you're surprising teams and you haven't been scouted really all that well, that's very different from doing it every single night. Austin is a known commodity. People know that he can hoop. There is a game plan. Ball pressure him, right? Try to rush him with physicality and ball pressure, right? Like teams know what to do with him now. And yet this year, regardless of circumstance, night after night, Austin is frying everybody in the NBA. No LeBron and Luka, he's got a 40-point game and a 50-point game this year. Getting wins. Alongside Luka, consistent production. Alongside LeBron and Luka, he's played 4 games with both of them so far this season. How about 29 points per game on 63% from the field, 42% from 3, and 92% from the line? This is too large of a sample size for us to ignore anymore. And it's all in a winning context. Last year, over his last 32 regular season games, he averaged a super efficient 23 points per game, and the Lakers went 21-11 in those games. This year, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 68% true shooting for a team that is currently a half game back of the second best record in the NBA. And he's surgically consistent. Guess how many times this year Austin hasn't scored 20 points in 16 tries? Once. The OKC game. Every other game, he has at least 20. The shot making is outrageous. 75% at the rim, which is just stupid for a guard of his build. 4 makes per game, which is 36th in the entire NBA as a guard. 14 for 18 on floaters. One of those was a game winner. And again, as I've talked, one of the most important, pivotal pieces for this Lakers team and their big picture goals are him knocking down unguarded catch and shoot threes. He's been deadly on the catch and shoot threes in the last week. He's up to 46% this season on unguarded catch and shoots, which, as we know, was the major weakness that he showed in the Timberwolves series in particular. And one of the crazy things is he's not just scoring the basketball. He showcased extremely high-level playmaking ability, especially in the games where LeBron is out or Luka as well. He can scale up his shot creation as a passer. He has 3 games this year with at least 11 assists. You know how many players in the NBA this season are averaging at least 28 points per game and at least 6.5 assists? 7 total. Luka, Shea, Giannis, Jokic, your Mount Rushmore of the NBA currently. Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, and Austin Reaves. That's it. That's the end of the list. And he's doing it next to Luka in lower usage. His play type data is off the charts. There are 22 players in the NBA this year to have run at least 200 pick and rolls, including passes. Austin's getting 1.17 points per possession. That's second in the entire NBA at high volume, even ahead of Luka in efficiency there. And he's an incredibly well-rounded player. I was listening to the Laker Film Room podcast over this weekend, and shout out to Pete and Darius. I think they do amazing work. And Darius was making a point comparing Austin to guys like Jimmy Butler, guys who came up in the league more as role players and then became stars, essentially forcing them to become well-rounded players. They had to be good at on and off ball defense. They had to be good rebounders. They had to have strong fundamentals on the glass. They had to have an overall willingness to scrap because that's how they stayed on the floor early in their career. And I think Darius is dead on with that. Austin isn't like some of these other high scoring players at the top of the league who give up a good amount of their production on the margins around the floor. He can guard. He always knows where to be in the scheme. He rebounds well for his size. He has some athletic limitations, and they can show up situationally here and there. But because he scraps so hard and because he's got such strong fundamentals, I think he's overwhelmingly a positive player on the margins. Is a consistent motor, plays super hard. This is very simply one of the best basketball players in the world right now. I was thinking about it this morning. How many players in the NBA are playing better basketball than Austin Reaves right now? So take reputation and set it aside and just zoom in on this season. Everyone's anonymous. Who's playing better basketball than Austin Reaves? The top tier guys, right? Luka, Shea, Jokic, and Giannis. Got to put them up there. The up-and-coming superstars. Cade's been better. I think Wemby's been better. Anthony Edwards has been better. Some of the established guys. Donovan Mitchell has been excellent this season. Steph Curry still with all of the shit happening with Golden State, the Warriors have a 119 offensive rating with Steph Curry on the floor per cleaning the glass. Just insane advantage creation still to this day. After that, though, it's a whole lot of guys that you would only put over Austin due to their reputation. Like Austin has been flat out better to start this season than guys like Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Devin Booker, Kawhi Leonard. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean anything with respect to those guys. Those guys have extended track records of success. It's only been 16 games. No one's about to shake up the hierarchy of the league. I'm just saying, Austin has been the 10th best player in the entire NBA this season through 16 games. Now, he'll have to maintain that for years in order to get that established reputation that some of those other guys have. And yeah, if you ask me, like, do I think when we get to June that I'm going to view Austin as the 10th best player in the NBA? Probably not. I think he's going to land somewhere below that, probably somewhere in that 12 to 20 range, right? Depending on how well he's able to maintain this level of play. But this is just a truly remarkable development. An NBA star who's currently playing firmly at the level of a superstar. And it gives the Lakers a solid foundation for their future. You have a player in Luka who's competing for the title of best player in the world currently. And now you have a bona fide all-NBA caliber running mate that complements him perfectly. Now, I'll admit, part of me is a bit scarred by the Minnesota series. Austin wasn't good in that series. It was a big part of how the Lakers ended up getting dominated the way they did. And ultimately, Austin will have to carry that with him until he can get another shot in this year's postseason. That's the burden of being as good as he is. He's so good now that he can have 50 points in a regular season game and everyone goes like, that's awesome. Let's see you do it when we get to April. That is the burden of the expectation that comes with being viewed as a guy who is a potential all-NBA level player. But I would just bet on this guy figuring things out. He just keeps getting better, and there isn't any sign of him slowing down.